The Punisher is definitely there. Hulk too. Could Daredevil also be lurking in the shadows of Spider-Man Brand New Day? There are quite a few reasons to think so. In the lead-up to the release of Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Marvel Studios head of streaming, television, and animation Brad Winderbaum told Entertainment Weekly that some coordination was in order. He said, "We don't want to spoil anything, but it very much exists in the same world, and it is important." Now, this could mean a lot of different things. It could be that, given that both productions are set in New York City, all that effort was simply to make sure they didn't contradict each other. This season of Born Again could shift the status quo considerably, and Marvel's New York has been through a lot recently, especially with all those people getting briefly evaporated during the climax of Thunderbolts. That said, you could absolutely take Winderbaum's remarks to mean that Born Again needed to lay track for Daredevil to reasonably appear in Brand New Day. Like we noted, Frank Castle is already confirmed to be there. And who's that handing Spidey a key to the city? None other than Wilson Fisk's campaign director, Sheila Rivera. The Daredevil supporting cast is undoubtedly present. That key to the city moment also seems to indicate the Fisk administration has changed its tune about vigilantes. Maybe Daredevil is responsible for that. Charlie Cox has been on a promotional tour for Season 2 of Daredevil Born Again, and his appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live was pretty telling. He made no illusions about what he's required to say about his Marvel projects.
Are you in the movie?
No. Now, if I was in the movie, I would also say no, to be clear.
Right.
But I'm not in the movie.
Of course, this is a dance we're all familiar with. Andrew Garfield was asked repeatedly if he was in Spider-Man No Way Home, and he had to deny it every single time. Sure, his villains Electro and the Lizard were in it, but him?
And I get to just be a fan again, which is my preferred position.
Likely story, mate. Of course he was in the movie. There were photos of him on set, but that's what he had to say. It's really not fair to ask these actors about upcoming projects because we know they'll have to lie to us. There's a chance Daredevil genuinely isn't in Brand New Day, but it's just as likely he is. For now, it's important to remember that an actor's word doesn't mean anything. There has been one instance where Cox perhaps revealed more than he meant to. Back in October 2025, the actor was one of many Marvel stars host Brandon Davis interviewed at New York Comic-Con's Marvel TV panel. One of Davis's questions caused some confusion for the poor guy. Earlier in the panel, the trailer for the second season of the animated Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man series was shown to the crowd. Cox voiced DD in that trailer, so Davis asked,
Is there a no one else can play Daredevil rule? Not that any of us are mad about it, but that was you in the Spider-Man trailer earlier.
Davis didn't specify which Spider-Man project he was talking about, and Cox seemed to get pretty flustered. He didn't see the trailer that was shown, and his response really indicated he thought Davis was talking about something else.
What? You're Daredevil in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Oh, that was earlier on.
Cox attempted some cleanup a little later, noting that fans think he's in Brand New Day because he had filmed something in London, one of the shooting locations for the movie. He said he wasn't, but sometimes body language says more than words do. After months of speculation about who its baddie would be, the Brand New Day trailer confirms a few. Scorpion, Boomerang, and Tarantula all appear. Though he doesn't show up in the trailer, we also know Tombstone will be in the mix too. All those guys are longtime Spidey villains, but it was a bit of a surprise to also see the ninjas from the Hand show up as well. The ancient, power-hungry organization is far more associated with the Man Without Fear. The Hand first appeared in Marvel Comics in Daredevil issue 174 by Frank Miller. They've been a thorn in Matt Murdock's side ever since, often attempting to get him to join their ranks, and he did indeed become the Hand's leader for a while in the early 2010s. In the MCU, the Hand's previous appearances have all been in the Daredevil Netflix series, as well as Iron Fist and The Defenders. Having the Hand in Brand New Day is probably the most vital piece of evidence that Daredevil could show up in the film. With all the changes going on with his body, Spidey could use all the help he can get to deal with them. There's no better ally to call on than Daredevil. Marvel has a reputation for hiding things in its trailers. That is to say, they specifically edit characters and visuals out to save the surprise for the big screen. They infamously changed Bruce Banner's appearance in the trailer for Avengers Infinity War, and they did something pretty similar in the trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home. In the part where Tom Holland's Spider-Man was jumping toward Lizard, Sandman, and Electro, something didn't look right. Lizard and Electro seemed to be facing the wrong way. When the film finally came out, all was clear. The trailer visuals have been edited to remove Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
I generally don't go around advertising it. Kind of defeats the whole anonymous superhero thing.
Is Marvel up to those same shenanigans again with Brand New Day? Maybe. At the very end of the trailer, Holland's Spider-Man leaps towards several members of the Hand. But there's a lot of empty space underneath Spidey, and it looks as though some of the ninjas are attacking straight ahead, not towards Spider-Man above. It's almost like someone else is there, but we can't see them. Could it be the Hulk or the Punisher who have been conveniently erased from the scene? Sure. Or maybe it's Sadie Sink's still unconfirmed character. The person who would make the most sense in this fight, though, is Daredevil. Keeping Daredevil a secret would be a great way to make audiences lose their minds when this moment plays out in theaters. It's easy to forget given that he was only in one scene of a jam-packed movie, but Matt and Peter met once before in Spider-Man No Way Home. Peter starts off that film in some legal hot water, with Mysterio releasing a posthumous video revealing Spidey's identity and framing him for his death. Thankfully, Pete and Aunt May hire Matt, and he gets all the charges dropped. On top of that, he catches a brick that flies through the window.
I'm a really good lawyer.
Matt was actually in a second scene where he defends Happy Hogan, but that one got cut out of the movie. So given that he's Peter's lawyer, it stands to reason that Daredevil could be in Brand New Day, right? Well, there is a complicating factor that Matt has forgotten who Peter Parker is, just like everyone else, thanks to Doctor Strange's spell from the end of No Way Home. But Peter still remembers Matt, even if their superhero personas have yet to meet. While No Way Home involved sorcery, multiversal meddling, and 3 different Spider-Men, Brand New Day seems to be bringing things down to just one Earth. The inclusion of the Punisher, as well as some of Spidey's more grounded villains, really seems to point toward a street-level focus. There's really no reason why Daredevil couldn't be there too. In fact, having DD, the Punisher, and Spidey in the same movie could present some compelling philosophical questions. Spider-Man believes in hope and responsibility, seeing the best in everyone and looking for ways to help whenever possible. Daredevil is a fascinating contradiction. Matt has to abide by the rule of law, but Daredevil is a vigilante who must break the law to get things done, often beating bad guys brutally while stopping just short of killing them. Then you have Frank Castle, a maniac killing anyone he deems as deserving under his personal moral code. It would make a lot of sense to use Daredevil to bridge the divide between Punisher and Spider-Man. The Brand New Day trailer confirms that Frank Castle and Peter Parker are well known to each other.
The hell, Frank? You just hit me with a van!
Frank even shoots Peter for getting in his way. As we've seen in Daredevil Born Again, Frank at least respects Matt Murdock, even if they have ideological differences. If things get more heated between Frank and Peter, Matt could be the one to cool things down. Part of the fun of a shared cinematic universe is that virtually any Marvel character can show up in anything. That's held true in the Tom Holland Spider-Man flicks, which have brought Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Captain America into the fun. Brand New Day ramps that up even further with the Punisher, the Hulk, and even Sadie Sink's character, who is widely rumored to be Jean Grey from the X-Men. At this rate, why hold back? Daredevil and Spider-Man are a great combo, so it only makes sense to throw him into the mix too. And it almost feels like Charlie Cox is making up for lost time. Daredevil has been everywhere lately. He didn't play the character for a few years after the cancellation of the Netflix Daredevil series, but in recent years, he's been on She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, Echo, and the aforementioned Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Plus, Daredevil has had so many team-ups with Spider-Man in the comics that it just makes sense to have the two work together in Brand New Day. He is hoping that Marvel feels the same way, and we'll see Hornhead when the movie hits theaters July 31st.